Interpret the financial statements. Evaluate the profitability. क्या बोल रहे हैं? Interpretation में evaluation of profitability, assess liquidity, analyze solvency. This is what we discussed in the first class also. Evaluate the profitability, assess the liquidity, analyze the solvency, measures the profitability, measures the operational efficiency, identify the strength and the weaknesses of the business. This is very, very important is operational efficiency. Smart businesses are there, very less efficient. Efficiency depends upon the team. So here we can check the efficiency and we can do. So what is important now? What we are doing? We are analyzing the full structure of the business. We are analyzing, interpreting the profitability. We are checking the liquidity position, means short-term liabilities are in a position to pay day-to-day expenses are there. We are checking whether they are long-term liabilities they are in a position to pay or not. Okay, and we are checking the efficiency of the operations, how quickly they are completing the projects, how quickly they are doing, and identifying the strength and weaknesses. This is what we need to do. And today we'll try to solve some of the CMA examination problems. Apply the financial statement analysis techniques. The techniques are so you can solve any number of problems. By solving the any number of problems, you will not get the techniques. You are practicing the MCQs only to speed up the process, to speed up the calculation speed to write the exam. And how quickly you will apply the technique and get the results. So what we are learning? We are learning the techniques of financial statements to crack the CMA exam and develop the analytical interpretation skills required for a professional examination. So we are developing ourselves for the professional examinations and we are developing our analytical skills which is not there everywhere. So analytical thinking is not there. It has to come. You have to activate the mind. Analytical mind, logical mind, analytical mind. So there are two parts of the brain, right? Right brain and left brain. One brain will perform one activity, another brain will perform another activity. So that brain is always in the sleeping mode. Until unless if you save command, that will not go to the right brain. So there are two memories in our brain. One is the temporary memory. Second one is the permanent memory, like the RAM and the hard disk. What we are talking, it will go first to the RAM, temporary memory. Then you need to revise properly, then that will go to the permanent memory. But some things are there, it will go directly to the permanent memory. Like do, which color? Do logo, blue color. How you remember? You are practicing every day, blue color. It is there inside. So, right brain will attract colors, logics, or important things like incidences will happen that will attract. So, you need to take everything logically to save in the right brain. So, that will come immediately, very quickly. And Vodafone the idea. Right. How many years back we left India? Still it is there in your mind. So make the life colorful. Make your notes colorful. Okay, we used to do yellow color charts. Why their charts are there in that colors? Yellow color chart lena hai, write down all the formulas and stick in it. Okay, because this is life. After passing exam also, this is your life. Okay, clear? So next is improve the decision making skills. Improve the decision making skills. Use financial statement analysis for the business decision making. Recommend actions based upon the financial performance and financial position. Decision making is very, very important. And so now, today, our learning objectives are we will understand the method of financial statement analysis and we'll prepare the comparative statement analysis, comparative statements, and we'll prepare the trend analysis. We'll prepare the trend analysis and prepare the common sense financial statement. We'll learn the interpretation and we'll solve the examination questions and we'll develop our decision making skills. Regarding the exam, they will ask you as a CMA which option is correct. है ना? मैं practicing भाई CMA exams कर रहे हैं ना आप लोग Sunday Sunday you're practicing what they are asking in the exam. है ना? They are asking your opinion and which one is correct, which one is true, right? So here now slowly we should not mug up the questions, right? We should learn the skills, how techniques. If you implement the technique, okay, you are in a position to crack the CMA examinations. Applying the techniques as well as the decision making. Three parts are very, very important: interpretation, execution, and the decision making. Okay, so inshallah, we'll try to learn these things today. Methods of financial statement analysis. What are the methods are there? 6 methods are there. Excellent. First one.
Financial statement.
Financial statement.
Income statement.
Income statement.
Fund
flow statement.
cash flow statement.
Cash flow statement.
Notes
to accounts.
businesses.
Those are
Statement of return.
the statement of return income. ये पूरे components of the financial statements, components of the income statement, right? ये क्या है? Yeah. So you didn't tell us, sir. Still we not discussed, right? Okay, let's see. You know or not? You don't know. There are 5 major methods. 6 क्या थे वो? Financial statements. Okay, 6 different financial statements.
आपकी वॉइस तो बाहर का नहीं हो रहा है.
कौन? Hello. Abari.
Rikesh,
Rikesh, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Abhijit,
Yes, sir.
I'm okay. I'm audible. Voice is clear.
Yes, yes.
आजम भाई,
आजम भाई तो स्पीकर में पानी डालो. कुछ कचरा हुआ है उसमें. सुने.
hello.
Okay. So now, Mohammed, I'm not the regular faculty. Regular faculty क्या रहती? Teacher is teaching, the students are dancing. He will teach and he will go. We are not the teachers. Okay, we came up with the preparing ourselves. The concepts has to be delivered. If the teacher कुछ भी बोले, nothing lasts to me. The important points will go from my mind. है कुछ भी डिस्टर्बेंस है फोन बंद करके बैठो. मेरे को बंद कर.
नहीं
इससे
सर,
अलग है.
आजम का साहब
पूरा रिकॉर्डिंग जा रहा प्रूफ है. 25 साल का बता था. Mohammed is disturbing the things. Okay, if any points, important points are missing, don't blame me. Blame him. Because this is the discipline of the class. And आपकी मर्जी है. You need to pass. You need to pass the exam. You came here to under our supervision, with our help, to succeed in your life. Don't forget this. When people are coming here to succeed in your life, nothing will come to us. Okay. So you came here to change your trend. Okay. So now there are 5 major methods in analysis. Methods in analysis. वो क्या था? 6 statement of accounts थे वो, है ना? So first method is comparative statements. Method of analysis. Analysis कैसा कर रहे हैं? By comparing the income statement, comparing the balance sheet. So now first method क्या है? What is the first method? Comparative statement. Comparative statement between 2 or more years. 2 or more years. If you say previous year, when more years will come, your formula will go on. Right. Next is trend analysis. It measures the long-term growth over several years. It will measure the long-term growth. So what we are understanding the analysis methods. कितने किस्म से, how many varieties of analysis we will do? We'll do comparative analysis for the different periods. Okay, comparative statement means income and balance sheet. Again, don't say that is different, this is different. No. Okay, trend analysis. Why we have to prepare the trend analysis? To understand, to measure the long-term growth over several years. Common size statement. Compare the companies of different sizes. Different sizes. Fund flow analysis. Analyze the movement of working capital. Ratio analysis. Evaluate the profitability, liquidity, and efficiency. So these are the 5 methods. Anything more? Vishal? Semi-qualified CMS. Upcoming CMS. Okay. So comparative statements for compare the performance, to compare the performance between the 2 or more organization, trend analysis, common size statements, fund flow statement, and ratio analysis. So what are the methods we are going to, what are the techniques we are going to learn? 5 methods, 5 techniques, and we know the purpose also. Why we are using this method? By using the ratio analysis, what you will achieve? You will achieve the evaluation of the profitability, and you can check the liquidity, and you can check the efficiency. Trend analysis में long term growth, long term solvency नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. Okay, clear? Any doubt, online students? Rikesh,
Yes, sir.
Abhijit,
Clear.
okay, very good. So now, comparative income statement analysis. What is the meaning of comparative income statement analysis? We discussed before, but quickly we'll discuss and we'll jump onto the problematic area. Comparative statement analysis compare the financial statement of 2 accounting periods by placing side by side. So it's very important. इसमें placing side by side लगा दिए. What is the problem? Where the examiner will play with us. We know that, and examiner know that basic thing it will comes to every CMA student. And what is the comparative statement? We need to compare 2 different periods by keeping side by side. Very easy, right? But technically, where he will play, we'll see. How? So it will help us to identify how much has changed. How much? मतलब values. How much value? मतलब 1,000, 2,000, 10,000. उसको क्या बोलते हैं? Absolute change. Absolute change means in value. Next is how much it has changed in percentage. That is called relative change. So when we are preparing the comparative statement, you need to calculate absolute change and relative change. Absolute change means in value, relative change means percentage. Clear? Yes, Mushra, go.
Yes,
What clear?
absolute is change, how much it's change in our percentage, like how much change of the value.
Yes.
Percentage.
Percentage. Where you will calculate these things in the trend analysis or in the common size?
Counts.
No, these are not comparative statement. They can. Where you will calculate these things? Comparative statement analysis. When you are preparing, when you are doing the analysis by using a method called comparative analysis, means you need to calculate absolute change and relative change. Common size में ये नहीं होता, वो अलग है. Okay, that's what we are learning now. We are fixing what is we need to clear, what we have to do. Okay, so now formula is absolute change is equal to current year minus the previous year. Percentage is absolute change by previous year into 100, we can see. Absolute change by previous into 100. Write down, please, all of you write down. Current year minus the previous year. Percentage change means current year minus previous year divided by previous year into 100. Previous year into 100. When you are preparing a comparative statement analysis, you need to calculate the absolute change. Absolute change is equal to current year minus previous year. Previous year minus current year करें, alas. Current year minus previous year from 2026 से 2025 निकालो. And the current year minus previous year divided by previous year into 100. Online students, Vikesh, what is the formula for absolute change?
Current year minus previous year.
What is the formula for percentage change, Abhijit?
Absolute change divided by previous year into 100.
Excellent. So now, Azam, please give me the answer. Okay. So let us do, please perform. So here data is for 2025 and 2026. So 25 minus 26 or 26 minus 25? 26 minus 25, latest year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So please solve. First prepare the income statement, it is already prepared. Solve the question. Try to calculate absolute change and the percentage change. Calculate. Start using mind. Sales. Prepare the table and calculate. Please use your calculators. And try to find out the absolute change and percentage of change. Absolute change 6,000 minus 5,000. Previous year minus current year minus previous year. Current year minus previous year. Absolute change is 100,000. What is the formula for percentage of change? Absolute change divided by the previous year.
Yeah.
Previous year means 1,000, 100,000 divided by 600,000 or 500,000. 500,000. This is very, very important. बहुत सारे लोग, I used to done the mistake. I used to divide by 600,000 previous year. Okay. Please calculate. Ashraf Ali. Developing the skills. How you develop the skills? Learn the formula, apply the formula, and develop the skills. या तो रात में ख्वाब में आना पड़ता, जो बच्चे नहीं कर रहे अब देखो सब इजी दिख रहा है. Absolute change, current year minus previous year, percentage of change, absolute change divided by the previous year into 100 divided by previous year into 100.
Sir, does it always has to be previous year?
Yes.
Like 2024?
देंगे अपन 2024 आए तो कैसा करेंगे
नहीं सर, फॉर्मूला है ना current year minus.
वही करना है देखो when the if 2 years are given now 5 24 also given 24 25 26
We'll consider as the first 2024.
2024 as the previous year. Okay, we will first will prepare 2025 then 2024 we will prepare 2026 and absolute change can we do it for 3 years together? Yes. Clear? So now, files. So what is our target? One, prepare the financial statement. Okay, we prepared the profit and loss account. Second one, calculating the financial statement methods, applying the methods. Then, interpretation. And above. What you will interpret in this? Not 100, okay, very good. Absolute change means sales is increased by 100,000.
Like, comparing to previous year, it will be 20% increase in sales.
Very good.
Cost of sales, like, increased also 90,000.
What is technical issue here? Is there any problem here?
Operating expenses.
No operating expense. पहले बात की देखो ना.
No.
What is the problem? Sales are increased by 20% only, but cost is increased by. It is not a good sign. Sales 20% is why expenditure 40%
more than the sales.
sales percentage means expenses are increasing very speed compared to the sales. The analysis come on.
So always has to compare with the sales.
Yes. So one more important point is if you observe, sales is increased, but profit is decreased. There is a loss. Why? Why?
Gross profit only 5%.
Yes. Operating expenses increased by 25%. Now, okay, so here we need to give an important interpretation. So what we will learn now when we are preparing a comparative statement, comparative income statement, कौन से points पे interpret करना है? How to interpret these things? Very, very important. Which points we have to interpret? Okay. So practical interpretation, although the sales increased by 20%, the cost of sales increased by 30% and operating expenses are increased by 25%. As a result, net profit decreased by 8.3%. This indicates that the company generates more revenue but failed to control. So control, what is the objective of costing? Cost control and cost reduction. Okay, increasing the sales, okay, decreasing the cost is more powerful than the increasing the sales. Okay, clear? Interpretation means don't say that this change 100,000, no. Interpretation means direct judgment. The decision has to give. What is your decision here? No problem, sir, you are in the loss. Even the sales are increased, okay. But your expenses are increasing more than that. Okay, that's why. Clear? Any doubt? Rikesh?
No, sir.
Mariam? So, understanding the interpretation is very, very important. Now, what is going on in our mind? Our mind, it is going on. क्या जा रहा है अपने mind में? What we have to compare? Which elements we need to compare? Okay, so now points to be noted. These are very, very important. So how we will learn? These are the points are very, very important. Only these things the examiner will ask for the interpretation. And by solving number of questions, 10 times if you repeat the same concept, they will ask if you summarize. That is one method of learning. One method of learning is 10 questions karo. What concept they are asking in the 10 questions? Make it summarize. This is this. Okay, ready? So first point is financial data must be points to be noted when you are doing the comparison. First thing you need to check the data must be properly defined. What is the meaning of properly defined? If proper defined okay nahi hai, you cannot prepare, you cannot compare. If you compare also, loss, waste. Wrong decision making will be happen. Decisions wrong होते, wrong figures गए, wrong decisions होते. When wrong decisions will come, companies will get closed. So first point, what we have to check, financial data must be properly defined. The same account should have the same meaning in both years. Same account, same meaning. Last time salaries था, wages था. Wages we recorded in direct expenses, salaries recorded in indirect expenses. This year, new accountant came, no problem, मिला. He's showing only at one place, salaries and wages. Obviously, compared to the last year, what Faiz is doing when he is preparing the audit reports, the expenses head sheet changing. है ना? Expenditure notes on accounts when you are preparing for operating expenses. This P&L and that audit report, what he prepared completely can be prepared. The audit report what you are preparing is wrong. है ना? The expenses should be defined properly. If you not define properly, then khalas. So easily they can बोल सकते audit report for professionally prepared or not. Here we have that much of basic knowledge. Here, what is important now? The data must be properly defined. How to define? फिर जाके बाद point with nature of accounts. Next point, practical example for the wrong comparison. Wrong comparison we'll see in the right comparison also. Sales 500,000, sales 650. Can we compare? Yes. What is wrong in this? Nothing. Is there anything, something is wrong here? Nothing. Right. So now in 2026, company included other incomes inside the sales. In 2026, company included other incomes. Where in 2025, these are the pure sales. But 2026 में क्या हुआ? Company included actual sales. How much? Sales 600,000, other income 50,000. So when you are preparing a comparative statement, first you need to prepare the proper data. Correct data you need to prepare, then compare. जो आया वो लेके कर रहे, again problem. So what we will do now? We will compare 500,000 with 650 is incorrect because both the figures do not represent same. So this is very, very important. यहाँ पे होशियारी दिखाना है. Okay, here we need to apply our techniques. So now how we will compare? Correct comparison is 500,000 minus 600,000. Now tell me, what is your interpretation? Calculate. Comparative statement बनाओ उसका. 25-26 का comparative statement बनाओ. What you have to prepare? Absolute change. How much?
100,000.
What is the percentage of change?
20%.
It's a 10 and 20. Calculator use करो. No. Decrease the beef consumption. Okay. Decrease the beef consumption to activate the brain. Okay.
20%.
So when you eat very hard or things, mind will take a lot of time to digest the things. Vegetables खाओ जल्दी digest होता है, mind free हो जाता, काम पास हो सकता है. Everyday biryani is injurious to health, especially for Hyderabadi people. Okay, clear? So now the comparison is meaningful. Listen, always compare the same type of. This is very important. उन्हें बोल देता हूँ सेल्स कहाँ के नीचे नोट में देता हूँ, पूरे क्वेश्चन के नीचे देता हूँ. When you will give this part, you will give at the end of the questions down. You will जब तक we solved and we selected answer we submitted. When we are going for last one, oh no बोले तक खलास. So first you need to read what is required to calculate before reading the figures. It's like technical. How to approach this? First, you will write the questions below the balance. He will give the balance sheet, and he will ask you to interpret. He will give the income statement. He will ask you to interpret. First, क्या करना? Requirement पढ़ना. First, read the requirement, then read the question. This is the only method to speed up the process. Instead of wasting the time in preparing the financial statement, he given the big question. He will ask you only sales trend. खाली क्या पूछा उन्हें? Sales trend. तो पूरा बैलेंस शीट पढ़ने का फायदा क्या है? This is technique. Examiner will check. Hey. So what we used to do in BCom, we know all the formulas. When the question will come, we used to do all. उसमें से एग्जाम्पल देख लेता, कौन सा सही है टिक करके बाकी के छोड़ेगा. That means unnecessarily बिल बाहर आके बोलते हैं कि time is not sufficient exam. Examiner में if exam is for 3 years, 3 hours, examination paper will be 2.5 hours. बाकी का आधा घंटा एक्सेस टाइम देते हैं. You calculate properly. Okay. So now clear. What is the first point? Financial data must be properly defined. Next point is accounting policy should be uniform. This will be the examination question 100%. है ना? This is there in accounting, this is there in auditing, this is there in IFRS. This will be the examination question 100%. This will come in the exam. क्या बोल रहे हैं यहाँ पे? Policy will differ. Not the type of accounts. That is different. Account is same. We not include a depreciation, means depreciation only. But what happened? Policy changed. So both years should follow the same accounting policy. If they change, first you need to change the figure, then compare. So practical example, suppose depreciation is calculated differently. In 2025 straight line method, depreciation is 20,000. 2026 reducing balance method, depreciation 45,000. Net profit appears lower in 2026 because the profit is expenses increased. 20,000 to 40,000, and obviously net profit will decrease. So what is the business performance worse? Business performance is worse because profit is decreased. So can you say by checking profit last year to this year decreased, you are not performing good? And if you are giving the judgment to any person or any statement, you must understand what to judge. And so we need to judge, we need to check whether the defined data is same and is there any change in policy. So we can say not necessary, the accounting policy changed. Therefore, before comparing the profit, adjust both the years by using the same depreciation method. So which depreciation method you will use? You will do straight line for 2026 or you will do reducing balance method for 2025? Policy is changed, retrospective effect. You need to do 2025 calculations as per present policy. Okay? वो करे wrong है. Policy जब change होती है, new policy will be applicable and retroactive effective. You need to do the adjustment in the previous year and
Okay, now
current.
this year the policy has.
In the current year only, we do notes on accounts, we prepare. And we do. So lesson, if the accounting policy change, adjust the figures before comparison. Third one is very first. What is first one? Defined data. Second one, changing policies. So we cannot say changing policies. The policy should be uniform. Policy should be same. And third one is financial statement should preferably be presented vertical. Horizontal में बैलेंस शीट बना के कंपेयर नहीं कर सकते. Okay, horizontal balance sheet, but T-form balance sheet when you will prepare, you cannot compare. When you are preparing the comparative statement, must be vertical. In the exam, he will give the horizontal. So first, what you need to do? First, you need to vertical, then do the analysis. Do the analysis. Hope it is useful. Yes. One hour. Good. Clear? So now horizontal analysis, debit equals to credit. इसमें नहीं कर सकते. You must prepare vertical analysis. ये basic चीज हमको confuse होते रहते हैं. When the question given like this, how to solve? We cannot understand. Okay, this is very important. What is the first point? Go to tomorrow, there are manias. Okay, near the metro station. You go straight. There is a shop called Hearts, accessories of Hearts है ना, वो दुकान है वहाँ पे. So bring one hunter. And by sitting here, I need to tomorrow bring it. And it will all. Okay, to complete this session, and we not set. It is countless, right? So we are doing a proper hard work. We are expecting the same thing from the students. नहीं करे तो मुश्किल है. पीछे रह जाओ. That's very simple. Syllabus खत्म हो जाता. That is happened now. And by coming, writing 2 days absent, 3 days absent, what is going on the present Sunday's batch, coming and blaming faculty. The faculty is very young, and they are giving the respect to the age of that student who is trying to create a nuisance. Instead of him, if I was there, 3 दिन तक खाना नहीं खाना, वही भी नहीं. So the replace has to come. Okay. So horizontal format and vertical format. Clear? First one, data should be seen. Notes, points to be noted. When we are preparing the comparative statement, we need to check these are the points. First one, data should be same, policy should be same, and must be prepared vertical financial statements. Fourth one, comparative statement should show both. Comparative statement must show absolute change and the relative change. By taking only absolute change, you cannot interpret. By taking only absolute change, you cannot give the judgment. To give the judgment, to take the decision, you must have 2 things. One, absolute change and the relative change. Say here. First one, data should be same link. Data should be same. Second one, policy should be uniform. Third one, must be prepared vertical. Okay, not horizontal. Fourth one, we must we must must calculate absolute change and relative change. Karo. So please do it online, students.
Yes, sir.
Karo problem. Comparative statement prepare. तो जहाँ पे दिमाग लगा यहीं लगाए दिमाग. What is the asset of these PPT? This is the asset. Only one item. Because the concept with बाकी का calculation income statement आ गया तो पूरा आ जाता. The logic we are trying to learn, the technique we are learning. What is the technique here? So what is the absolute change finds?
Changes.
How much? 10,000. What is the relative change? 10,000 divided by 26,000, 26 or 25? 10,000 divided by 2, 26 or 25? 20? Rikesh,
Yes, sir.
Rikesh,
Hmm.
absolute change divided by current year or previous year? So what is the previous year?
2025.
Okay. Clear? What is your judgment on this?
Relative change have 10% of.
Sales increase by percentage 10%. Now, wait. I'm going to show you the beautiful. करो. कभी भी faculty should not explain the solution. Faculty's responsibility to give the concepts, techniques. Student has to resolve. The method of teaching where the teacher is explaining each and every problem is a very dangerous method of teaching. You will feel confident when he explained everything. And you will not get time to recheck whether you learned or not. है ना? इसको इग्नोर करें, मेथड ऑफ टीचिंग प्रॉपर नहीं है, द सॉल्यूशन इज एग्जिट फ्रॉम द बुक्स एंड ऑफ द डे, बिकॉज़ वी कैन नॉट पे द फीस. एक बार बने खत्म करना. डन. बोल फाइज. सेम. हाउ कम?
For 10,000.
1%, not 10%. ब्रदर इस परसेंटेज में मिस्टेक मत करो. बोल कितना है, सही चेक कर.
0.5.
Absolute change is 10,000. In the both the cases, absolute change is 10,000, 10,000. But what is the percentage of change?
0.1.
0.1 percentage. So by comparing only absolute change, can we give the judgment? No. This is what we are learning. Absolute change for the both the companies are same, 10,000, 10,000. But percentage of change, one company sales are increased by 10%, whereas the other company sales are increased by 0.1%. Nothing is increased. So what we are trying to understand here, we must calculate absolute change and relative change to give the proper answer. Clear? So although both the companies increased by 10,000, their business performance is completely different. The performance is completely different. This is why the percentage change is equally important as compared to absolute change. First one, data should be defined same. Second one,
Policy.
third one, vertical.
Yes, sir.
But पैराना चिड़े थे ऐसा vertical, not horizontal. Horizontal means T-shape, like no use. We need side by side. Next,
Comparative.
पूरा comparative चाहिए भाई. Should we calculate absolute time? We are learning comparative only. In the comparative statement, data should be defined. In the comparative statement, data should be uniform. In the comparative statement, we have to prepare vertical statement. In the comparative statement, we have to prepare absolute change and the relative change. पता इलाज हो रहा था. Slowly. Anyway, this is very simple solution. Write these PPTs 100 times. Then you can start teaching. Simple. Anyway. You can start M-axis and push-off axis. Next one, how to calculate right before when we are preparing, what are the points to be important we prepare. Now we are learning what to interpret. Calculations are very easy. Plus minus ही चाहिए इसमें कुछ नहीं है. In this minus divided by we can do. What is important? This is very very important. Comparative financial statement में interpretation. We learn these things for three methods. Ratio analysis is a separate chapter. Fund flow is a separate chapter. But in this chapter, we will discuss three methods: comparative, common size, and trend. Okay, clear? What we completed? Important points when you are preparing the comparative statement. After preparation, interpretation is very very important. So remember, the preparing the comparative statement is only 20% of the work. By calculating the absolute change, by calculating the relative change, ऐसा बोले तो नहीं होता. हाँ, पीछे तो भाड़ा लेके आना फिर ऐसा बैठना पड़ता. So what is important? The remaining 80% is interpreting what the numbers mean. If you go back to before COVID, okay, so axis for a group of services caption is different. So what is the caption? We make you speak with your financial figure. Or you can speak with your financial figure. Just apply the techniques. Figures will tell you where you are going, what is the performance. We used to give the judgment for many companies after 3 years this company will collapse. And how we can say? We can say this. Okay, in India, in 2009, one biggest bank lady, the CEO, she resigned. Once she resigned, after 2 years, bank is collapsed. Now, my work. So, okay. So, a good accountant should not say sales increased by some definition of profiles. When you given the first interpretation, you said sales are increased by 100,000. Okay. They should explain why, whether it is good or bad, and what management should do. Like this client of Fujera, I can't take the name because the recording class. And if it is P&L is 100% profit is showing. No expenses. So we can advise him the profit is more, sales are increased. Where is the cost of goods? Must be there. If it is not there, something. So now, practical question, assume XYZ Limited बोलते तो आप पेन पेपर ready रहना. I'm not going to give the answers. Assume XYZ Electronics LLC has the following figures. Sales, cost of, oh, it's given income statement, no, not income statement. Retained earning, working capital, cash, bank, fixed asset, long-term asset, because we studied interpretation of sales, expenses, assets, income and profit, right? We studied in the beginning of the class. So you have some the आपको. Now you need to do the interpretation. So first to find out the absolute change and relative change. पुरानी राहें विज्ञान में कंप्लीट करें. In these classes, I started by assuming the students knows how to prepare a P&L and balance sheet. वो नया था तो फिर वही बनाना पड़ता. बहुत लंबा सफर है, मस्त करो. Sales increased by 300,000. Cost of goods sold also increased by 300,000. Excellent question. Operating expenses increased by 80,000. Net profit decreased by 80,000. सेल इंक्रीज कर दिया, प्रॉफिट कम कर दिया. रिटेन earnings increased again. Working capital decreased. Cash and bank balance decreased. Fixed assets increased. Long-term loan increased. Absolute change in the percentage change. First, you need to complete the income statement, then do absolute change, then do relative change. पहले income statement पूरा लिख लो, write down. Rikesh, Abhijit, Azam, next. Now let's interpret each point. This is the examination questions. Okay, this is the summary of many questions. Are we ready with the absolute change and relative change? Okay, done. कर दो, then we'll see the interpretation. Then do fast. Current year minus previous year divided by previous year multiplied by 100. Current year minus previous year, current year minus previous year divided by previous year multiplied by 100. Aji, Rikesh, done.
लास्ट दो बाकी है सर.
लास्ट के दो बाकी, जल्दी करो. प्लस माइनस करने की कितनी देर?
बेस में कोई भी नहीं है, पूरा कर लिए.
डू इट फास्ट. So, Omar, what you understood with relation to Rikesh? He denied to go on live classes, online classes. Now we are very comfortable. He is very comfortable and happy in the online classes. What you understood?
So the subject matter, how it is.
स्टूडेंट का प्रॉब्लम में कहता हूँ ऑनलाइन बोलता हूँ सही प्रॉब्लम जब तक नहीं पकड़ते चीज प्रॉब्लम होती है क्लियर लेट्स गो फर्स्ट इंटरप्रिटेशन इज अबाउट द सेल्स sales increase is meaningful sales increase is meaningful only when you compared with cost of goods sold. When you compare with the cost of goods sold. Why increase sales alone doesn't mean the business performing well. Business performance net profit से check करते हैं sales देके performance नहीं बोल सकते. Okay, so now always compare sales versus cost of goods sold. So here in the given question, okay, sales increased by 30%, 300,000, but cost of goods sold increased by 43%, 300,000. Interpretation, sales increased by 30%, but the cost incurred even faster. This means purchase price is increased, selling price are not increased, profit margin is sales बढ़ गया पर प्रॉफिट नहीं बढ़ा है नहीं हमारा भी ठान है so management question why are we spending more to generate the same sales है नहीं इसको लगना लगा देते हैं ना who is facing this issue in the company so why you have to spend clear what you understood now so when you are interpreting when you are giving the answer don't check only sales line and give the performance of the company is good sales always compared with cost of goods sold and check the percentages. Sales percentage should be more than cost of goods sold percentage. Then you can say. And don't go on the figures it is in million. No, percentage is important. Please. Clear, online students?
Yes, sir.
Second interpretation is increase in operating expenses. Okay, operating expenses includes salary, rent, electricity, marketing, telephone, and office expenses. Okay, bolo. Operating expenses before 100,000, 180. Same question only I'm using.
Yeah. 80,000.
Absolute change is 80,000.
Yes.
Relative change is.
80%.
Tell me the relative change, relative percentage. 80%. 80%, 80%. So increase by 80%. Okay. Change in net profit shows overall profitability. Then the question will come. Question will come to evaluate the overall profitability of the business. So net profit is the final result. Profit is decreased by 80,000 percentage. 40% profit is decreased.
Yes.
So what is your interpretation?
Due to the operating changes in the profit.
Profit is decreased by 40%. Interpretation, although the sales is increased, overall profitability is declined. decreased. Possible reasons: high purchase cost, because cost of goods sold are increased by more, right? High purchase cost, higher salaries, because operating expenses also increased. Yes, increase in rent, increase in finance cost. The management conclusion is business is growing, but profitability is you can control. Operating expenses by terminating the staff or by changing the office, decreasing the rent, decreasing the salaries. Yes. Clear? So first one, sales comparison along with the cost of goods sold, operating expenses, then change in net profit shows overall profitability. And fourth one, change in retained earnings, change in working capital. So retained earnings, what happened here? Retained earnings is equal to profit kept in the business, not distributed to the shareholders. Still we not given profit to the owners. Retained earning means the profit after tax which is held to distribute to the retained earnings. So now retained earnings is increased by 50,000, right? In your given question, retained earning is increased by 50,000. Does this always means profit is increased? No. Many reasons are there. Retained earning is increased. That means not a profit. So what are the reasons? High profit. The scenario number one, high profit, good. Second one, company stopped paying dividend. Then automatically retained earnings will increase. It doesn't mean that profit is increased. Retained earning increased means not the profit is increasing. Profit remains same, retained earnings increases. Company transferred reserve fund to retained earning changes. You transfer some percentage to general reserve. In that case also, retained earning decreased. It doesn't mean that profit is decreased. Interpretation: always check profit, dividend, reserves, bonus, shares issued before concluding. Change in retained earning, don't give comment, change the retained earning, change, profit decreased. Overall, we are interpreting the income statement. Income statement का end result क्या है? Profit है. Overall profitability पे comment कैसा देते हैं? Based upon the profit only. That's why each and every item we are comparing with the profit. Okay. Next, change in working capital. Working capital is current assets minus current liabilities. In 2025, the current assets are 5,000, 500,000. Current liabilities are 250. What is your working capital? 250,000. So in 2026, what is the working capital? 180. So before 250, now 180, working capital is decreased. So interpretation: working capital reduced, meaning less money is available for daily operations. Possible problems are difficulty paying suppliers, cash shortage, increased short-term borrowings. This is our position now. Working capital is changed. Before Mr. Jain, the working capital is very high. Right. We are paying our working capital. Right? Now it is decreasing. Decreased. Okay. Clear? Why? What are the possible reasons? Our operating expenses are increased. Simple, our operating expenses are increased. Sales increased, yes, but operating expenses, the cost also, cost of goods also increased. Doesn't mean that we are growing. We are growing. Good. So now, seventh one is change in fixed assets. Change in fixed assets. So change in, sorry, first one, sixth one is change in liquidity, liquid assets. I will tell you what. Very, very important point. I am not going to discuss many MCQs. These are the MCQs. Right? Each and every line item I am giving you the judgment, how to think, how to interpret, how to give the answer, and how to give the judgment. This is the beautiful method of teaching, giving the concepts. We are not solving number of questions. A question leke, we are trying how to think, how to resolve, how to apply, how to get the answer. Now, the change in liquid assets, cash, bank, and short-term investments. You must know what is liquid assets. You must know. Can we add prepaid expenses? Prepaid expense liquid asset hota?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. For that purpose, our upcoming next chapter is ratio analysis. Okay, in that I explained very beautifully what are the components, elements of current assets. Elements of current. This is the examination question. उन्हें देता प्रीपेड फ्लो में अपन क्या करते हैं? This is current asset में liquid assets. The clarity, the basic clarity you must have, easily you will get answer. You will not face any difficulties. Examiner will give option A, option B, with prepaid, without prepaid. When you will do calculation by adding prepaid, answer A. Wow, but fail. Wow. Okay. So example, cash and bank. Cash plus bank is increased or decreased? How much absolute change?
60,000,
Percentage?
50%.
50%. Minus 50%. So it's good or bad?
It's bad.
Huh? Cash reduced by 50%. Interpretation, the company may struggle to pay salaries, suppliers, electricity bill, rent, even if the profit is good. Cash problem can still exist. Remember, the profit is not. Okay, clear. Change in liquid assets. Change in fixed assets. This is very beautiful thing. Sales should be compared with cost of goods sold. Fixed assets must be with long-term assets. Yield learning pattern. Okay. Sales versus cost of goods sold. Fixed assets with long-term loans. Fixed asset is increased by 300,000. Long-term loan is also increased by 250. This is logical. The company purchased machinery using long-term finance. Bad situation is bought machinery 300,000 using supplier credit payable in 1 month. This credit liquidity problem, this will create a liquidity problem. Golden rule, long-term assets should be financed with long-term funds, not with the short-term funds. Clear? Eighth one. Study which assets increased or decreased. Don't just see the total assets. Okay, when you are doing the problem, don't see the total assets. Look at which asset is changed. है ना, total देके काम नहीं करो, no shortcuts in interpretation. Okay, example, inventory increased. Good. Maybe business is preparing for festival sales. Festival sales, that's why inventory is increased. Bad, inventory is not selling, goods are becoming obsolete. Okay, So here, which asset are increasing? Very, very important. If inventory increasing, what is the reason? Ninth one is relative measures are better than absolute. So overall discussion में absolute change से we cannot give the right answers. Okay, relative changes is the percentage of change is the right thing to give the interpretation. So here measures, absolute measures, sales increased by 100,000. Okay, sounds good. Relative measures, sales increased by 10%. Now compare company A increased 100% sales, right? पहले कितना था 100 to 200,000. Company B sales 10 million to 1.1 million, increased by 100,000. Okay, what is the percentage change here? 100%, but here the percentage change is 1%. So here although both the companies increased 100,000, but company A performs much better than the company B because relative change is increased by 100% by 1%. Okay. So here formula is percentage increase. This is the formula current year, previous year by previous year, right? So now this is the summary to understand. This is the summary. Exam tips are very, very important. Okay. First one is sales increased, cost of goods grows slower. It's a good sign. Okay, when you need to give the opinion whether it is good or bad. When you will say good, sales increased and cost of goods are increasing but very slowly. When bad side is sales are increased, cost of goods sold are increasing faster than the sales. So the exercise which we done, in that case sales are increased by 20%, but cost of goods sold increased by 43%. Then the situation is not good. Whatever it be the reason, maybe the price is increased, purchase price is increased. Okay. Next is operating expenses. Increase due to expansion. Good. This is our situation as we expand the different activities. Okay. So our situation is good side, no problem. Temporary. It's temporary. So I'm not saying. Our techniques, our methods are saying increase without sales growth, net profit increase, good sign. Decrease, always net profit should. Retained earnings higher due to profits, good, but higher due to other adjustments. Okay, higher due to dividend not declared. Check the dividend and reserves transfer before concluding. If it is transferred, not decreased. Retained earnings decreased doesn't mean profit is decreased. Okay, here clarity is not. Working capital increases, good. Current assets are more than the current liabilities. When the current assets are more, the liquidity position is good. Then the company also doing good. Decrease or negative, bad sign. Is not good. Liquid assets. Liquid assets. Strong cash flow. If it is increased, strong cash flows. Cash shortage or despite profits. Fixed assets. Finance with the long-term funds, good. Finance with own funds, finance with current funds. So finance with the short-term liabilities. Nature of assets, productive assets increased. Okay. Which assets? जो assets हमने यूज करना नहीं है, फ्यूचर में यूज करना है, to be purchased now, no meaning. So absolute inventory or overdue receivables increasing. This is happening. Overdue receivables are increasing in the company, right? So that is not a good sign. Relative measures, percentage analysis gives clear comparison. Absolute amount alone cannot be mislead, can be mislead. Only absolute change, value of the amount change, they क्या comment दे रहे, the decision will mislead. So always relative measures are important. Clear? So now, this is the homework, you do it later, solution is there, I will share these PPTs with you. Okay, so you can do, but let's read the question. Okay, and do it at home. So comparative income statement question, the following information, now we know that. How to calculate absolute change, right? How to calculate absolute change we know, how to calculate relative, and we know how to comment. Okay, we know how to interpret which points we have to check, sales, cost of goods sold, fixed asset with long-term loss. Return earning, profit increase, these things we know. The papers you have to revise or stick at the paper, very good. Now you are required to prepare a comparative income statement showing absolute change and percentage change. You have to prepare an income statement. Okay, interpret the changes in the financial performance of the company based upon your analysis. Based upon your analysis, very simple question. I given the income statement. Okay, sales, cost of goods sold, administrative, selling expenses, non-operating expenses, non-operating incomes, sales return, tax rate. You must to prepare the income statement which we discussed in the session number 5. Right, income statement. Properly you have to prepare operating income, non-operating profit, non-operating profit, expenses, right? As per IFRS, prepare the income statement, then interpret. Because when you are interpreting, data should be properly defined. Any policy changed? No. Uniform hai? Yes, it is uniform. Okay, required to prepare a comparative income statement, calculate the gross sales. Okay, less sales return, net sales, cost of goods sold, gross profit, operating profit. I given you the full solution because my responsibility to focus on interpretation. Okay, so I given you the complete solution, absolute change and absolute percentage. Interpret. After preparing the comparative income statement, answer the following questions. Answer the following questions. Was the company's sales performance improved? How you will do? Sales, then cost of goods sold. If the cost of goods sold percentage is more than the sales, buy. How much speed the sales are increasing, cost of goods sold increased very slow. So then you can calculate and you can give me the reason. Answer. What does the change in sales return indicates? Sales return is increased. Effective product. It's a good sign or a bad sign? Okay. Compare the growth of sales with the cost of goods sold. What does it indicates about the company's gross profit? About the gross profit. Comment on the change in operating expenses. If it is increased, due to what? Be given clearly administrative expense, selling expenses. Okay, because of this expense, the operating expenses are increased or decreased, you have to check. Is the increase in operating profit satisfactory? Give the reasons. Increase in operating profit is satisfactory? Is okay? No, not okay. Balance cost we need to check. Why has non-operative income is increased significantly? Why? The non-operating income is increased significantly in US. Should managed clearly on this income. Explain the change in net profit before tax and net profit after tax. Overall comment on the profitability and the financial performance of Mohan Limited. Clear? Karthik? Will do or no? Very good. So now, solution is here already, okay? And here working notes also here. This is the beautiful concept what we need to do small parts, because in CMA it comes small questions. And at least stepwise karo, practice karo, okay? Do it. Interpretation. I will tell you one, okay? Increase in sales and reduction in sales return. Gross sales increased from 58,000 in 1993 to 65,200 in 1994, representing an increase of 12.4%. At the same time, sales return decreased by 40% from 2000 to 1200. This is a favorable sign. This is a favorable sign because it indicates better acceptance of the company's product in the market. When the sales are decreased, public is accepting them. And admissions are getting cancelled, and the students are not accepting the method of teaching or something we do. Next is improve the product quality. Quality of the teaching we need to improve or to increase. जो भी problem है, the quality need to increase. Higher customer satisfaction, to increase the student satisfaction, and fewer defectives or unsatisfactory goods. As a result, net sales increased by 14.29%. Clear? Or what is the second interpretation? Sales increased faster than the cost of goods sold. Good sign. Right. Net sales increased by 14.29%, where the cost of goods sold increased by 3%. Acceptable. Excellent. Okay. Since the sales increased at a much higher than the cost of goods sold, gross profit increased substantially from 8,400 to 14,800, representing increase in 76%. This indicates better cost control, improve the selling price, efficient purchasing, or the production, higher gross profit margin. Maybe we are purchasing at a very lesser price. Maybe our sale price is increased and public is accepting. Operating expenses were well controlled. Administrative expenses decreased slightly. Selling expenses increased by 4.5%. Total operating expenses increased by 2.5%, which while net sales are increased by 14%. Only small marketing expenses acceptable. Okay. Strong increase in operating expenses, operating profit. Strong increase in operating profit. Operating profit increased from 500,000 to 11,000, representing an increase of 114%. Operating profit. This is an impressive improvement because operating profit represents profit earned from the company's main business activity. This is a beautiful sentence. Operating profit is showing the profit earned from main business activities before the finance cost. Actual profit of the business is operating profit. The increase was mainly due to higher net sales, lower sales return, controlled cost of the goods sold, or stable operating expense. Therefore, the company's core business performance is improved significantly. Now we have to check. है ना? Mind काम कर रहा, now mind is moving now, how to do interpretation? Slowly or no? Abnormal high increase in non-operating income. Non-operating income increase from 96 to 644, representing an increase of 570%. 570%, although the percentage increase appears very high.
Sir, 100% is. What is the limited case?
There is no limit.
Percentage.
I see the companies with the 2000%. This is Dubai, the beauty. This is the beauty of the Dubai.
So there is no limit.
Okay, same audit report, which price prepaid, we given for 50,000. Same audit report, we given for 50,000. Same format, same template, right? The percentage of profit is, what is our cost? 0. Percentage of profits are there. This is the beauty of UAE. Knowledge of एक assignment में what we will use in one assignment will take our UAE. You can see shops are worth by go. Nobody will know. But one season में they will take full year expenses. Okay. Now, non-operating incomes may be include interest income, dividend income, rental income, profit on sale of fixed asset. Management should not depend heavily on non-profit incomes because it may not rise regularly. Therefore, even without considering non-operating income, the increase in the operating profit was highly satisfactory. Increase in net profit before and after tax. So net profit before tax increases, representing the increase in approximate profit by 124%. Net profit after tax also increased from approximately 3,000 to 6,000, representing almost the same percentage increase. Both profit figures increased at nearly the same rate because the tax rates are remains in both the years. The percentage of tax is same. The tax rates will change at that time. That is important. Overall profitability, the overall profitability of the Mohan Limited is highly satisfactory, because gross sales are increased, returns are decreased, strong growth in the net sales, better control on the cost of goods sold, stable on the operating expenses, more absolute double the operating profits, more than double the net profit. Therefore, Mohan Limited shows significant improvement in the sales performance, cost efficiency. Clear? How to interpret, how to understand, it's a good attempt. Okay. One more question. This is for the practice, but this is a balance sheet. अब तक क्या करे थे अपन? Now we are going for a balance sheet. I am not going to teach because this is a comparative balance sheet. Means absolute change and the relative change. Let us focus on the interpretation. You must know how to prepare the balance sheet. We discussed the formats in the initial class. Goodwill is an intangible asset. Tangible assets. So absolute change. What is the formula? Current year minus 94 minus 90. Percentage change. Absolute change divided by previous year multiplied by 100. So important correction here, balance sheet is not tallied in the given question. Here 730. Okay, the assets are 671. Here balance sheet is showing more because dividend is the now it will come as an adjustment. Okay, some adjustment as the final upon adjustments will come, right? So in this question. So here the important correction for the above balance sheet to agree with the textbook solutions. 8% debentures for 1994 should be 108, not 180. What a calculation error hai. Okay. Then the stock figures also some mistakes, but now current assets we prepaid For the current liabilities, absolute change and percentage change. We know this how to prepare. Each and everything should be plus minus and divided. Now interpretation. This is very, very important. We understood now how to interpret for income statement. Now we are focusing on interpretation of the balance sheet. So when we not use the pens properly, pen or pen. So when we use the pen unnecessarily, once you qualified as CMA, when you are trying to sign the assessment, at that time pen will not come. When the person will call, where is the pen will come, that will not come. Why it will not come? Ink is finished. So, okay, use the resources very properly, relatively, very, very important. The interpretation. There has been a raise of 24.20% in current asset of the company. But current assets are increased. This is in spite of fall in cash and bank balances and sales of short-term investments. This is mainly on account of increase in debtors and the bills receivable. Current assets are increased, but cash balance na increase one. Right? And short-term investments also not increased. This is increased because of credit sales are increased. Debtors are bills receivable increased. The company may have change in credit policies and its future liquidity position will be depends upon the credit management. Current asset increase one, each and everything you will check. Okay, credit policy is increased. The company has write-off goodwill from the books. Decreased, means write-off. What is the result? The fixed assets of the company compare favorably with the long-term funds of the company. The long-term funds being used to fund the current assets of the company. There is no scope of a short-term liquidity crunch. The profitability of the company appears to be impressive. Judged profitability. The judged by 63% increase in results and surplus. How is that the income statement of the company must be examined in the greater details. The overall financial position of the company appears satisfactory. So comparative statement of goods manufactured here. The question is here. Okay. So we need to prepare a comparative statement. First, it's difficult to prepare a comparative statement. Okay, right now, not I will provide you the solutions. Okay, so I have to solve this question, not added here. Try to prepare the manufacturing account. I given you the format in the previous class, right? When we are preparing manufacturing account, prepare this question and interpret what is the question. The following statement of the cost of goods manufactured for Nirmal Private Limited for the year, and you have to prepare a comparative statement and you need to interpret. Balance sheet interpretation, we check the current assets, right? We check the fixed assets with the long-term fund, right? So, like manufacturing also interpretation, what we have, which points we have to talk. Working progress, operation goods, total production cost. But I will will discuss in the next class. So now we are moving slowly on to the trend analysis is our next topic. So, comparative income statement, comparative balance sheet, and comparative manufacturing account. Okay, we understood how to prepare. We know in the both the three cases: absolute change, relative change, and interpretation. So, interpretation will come with the practice by solving the number of questions. Okay, the answer. So next is the trend analysis. This is also called as a time series analysis. So what is the trend analysis? What is trend analysis? The trend analysis is a financial statement analysis, and it is a technique, okay, used to study the increase or decrease in the financial statements items over a several years. Financial statement items, okay, with each and every item. Correct line. Sales income statement, okay, and the balance sheet and the manufacturing. It convert the financial figures of different years into index numbers. It will convert the financial figures into index numbers by selecting 1 year as the base year. 1 year. So what we done here, we calculated the absolute change and we divided by absolute change divided by the previous year. But here, not with the previous year, with the one base year. Okay. Always base year is 100%. This helps the management identify whether the business is growing, declining, or remains stable over the. So if they will ask, someone ask, can you check where is our business is growing or not? So do the trend analysis and give the answer. Okay. What is the use of preparing the comparative statements?
Comparing to the previous.
Only for 2 years, but this will many years, many years. So growth will can be compared. Simply, the trend analysis is a method of comparing the financial data over multiple years by taking 1 year as the base year and expressing all other years as a percentage of the base year. So we will take base year. Okay, then we will compare.
Base year can be the whole year.
First year.
First year. Start.
Okay. Why trend analysis is important? Trend analysis helps the management to identify long-term growth or decline. It measures the business performance over time, analyze the sales, expenses, assets, liabilities, and the profits. Support budgeting and forecasting. Budgeting and forecasting. Simply और एक chapter आ गया है नहीं? Budgeting and forecasting. Assist interlink है नहीं है, इसलिए बोलते हैं खाली एक ग्रुप नहीं करना. Budgets कहाँ पे है? The chapter is part 1. So most of the students will decide they will prepare only the enjoy the subject का link नया part. Okay, and many students are passing both पढ़ो, pass fail, one should be pass or take fail, that is different story. But you need to complete both. Otherwise you cannot understand the trend analysis. Or you will not understand the budgets without understanding the trend analysis. Okay. So forecasting, how you will do? Budgets, how you will do? If you don't know how to calculate this. Assist the investors and lenders in decision making. Compare current performance with the previous year. Current performance with the previous year. So simply steps in completion of the trend analysis. Okay, select the one of the period for which the financial statements are available as the base period. The select the period should be a normal period. Every item is the base period taken as 100. Every in a base period, all items will be 100. Sales 100. Cost of goods sold 100 for the first year. For the base year, this is very, very important. And trend value of each item for any other period can be calculated as under. Absolute value of the item for the period divided by absolute value of the item in the base period into 100. Absolute value बोलो
Value change in value.
previous year. Points to be noted. वहाँ भी points to be noted था. Method should be same. Policy should be same. Should be prepared in vertical. है ना? Here the points must be noted. the accounting policies for the entire period should be uniform. Here also same. If policies are changed, we cannot do the trend analysis. Trend values must be read along with the absolute change. Trend values, okay, will be changed with the absolute values. Non-financial factors should be while interpreting the trend. Non-financial factors, okay, do not look only at the trend percentage, index numbers, also actual amounts, also to the actual amounts. So same there also in the comparative statement, only by comparing the amounts without comparing the percentages, we cannot interpret here also the same. So now some other practical question. Suppose the company sales of company ABC Electronics are as follows. Base year 22, okay, 100,000, 23, 24, 25 the sales are there. So take 22 as the base year, and base year always 100%. So how we are calculating the trend calculations? 2022 base year, right? 100%. Then what is the formula? Current year divided by the base year multiplied by 100. Okay, clear? Sales increased by 20% in 2023, sales increased by 50% in 2024, sales increased by 100%, increased by 2025. This shows a continuous growth, है ना? हर साल को क्या कर रहे हैं? ये 24 is calculated by 2023? No. 25 divided by 22, 24 divided by 22, 23 divided by 22, 23 22 divided by 22. That's why 100%. Clear? Trend analysis. Trend percentage. Trend percentage is equal to current year amount divided by the base year, not the previous year. Okay, not the previous year. Here the base year multiplied by 100. Formula: sales in 2024, base year 2022, and the percentage is. So here what we learned here, no absolute change, 10%. Now see here, practical question. Sales 22, 23 is given, 24 is given. Sales 22, 23, 24, net profit is given. What to do now? We know comparative statement how to start. Tak, 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 absolute change, percentage of change, interpretation. How you will start this question? Directly we calculate trend change. Right? So now, here trend change, the base year, each item we taken 100, 100, 100. And then we calculated percentage of change. Current year divided by base year, not the previous year. Previous year liye to 2024 के पूरे figures are the wrong जा. Rikesh,
Yes, sir.
understood?
Yeah.
Easy.
Yes, sir.
Interpretation: sales is increased stably, cost of goods sold increased. देखो, sales is increased, cost of goods sold increased, but a slower rate than the sales. देखो यहाँ पे 120% sales increased, but cost of goods sold increased less than this. It's a good sign. Management conclusion: the company is improving profitability and controlling production costs. Clear? Trend analysis, easy or tough? Tough. Huh? Help me. What relatives? So give from the exam. Yes, they will ask interpretation only. No? In the exam, they will ask interpretation only. That's what we are learning, what to do and how to do. Cost is increased, sales also increased. For example, For example, your salary is not increased. Your salary is increased by 1,000. Okay, but your expenses are increased by 2,000. Then manageable.
हेलो सर, वॉइस नहीं आ रहा है। हेलो, वॉइस नहीं आ रहा है सर।
वॉइस नहीं आ रहा
हाँ।
हमारा।
हाँ, अब आया है सर।
The trend analysis, the following information has been extracted from the statement of profit and loss account of the Prashant Limited for the year 1993. You are required to calculate the trend ratios, index numbers for the following items by taking base year 1990 as a base year. Sales, wages, bad debts, profit and tax. Okay, calculate the trend percentage of the relationship of wages to sales, bad debts to income statement में all with the sales. Okay, interpret the results and comment on the company's sales and the growth and cost trend and bad debts management and the profit. This is a beautiful and a tough question. Yeah. So now the information is given: sales every year, wages, bad debts are increasing, right? Yes.
Yes sir.
Sales is increasing, wages also increasing, bad debts also increasing, profit is also increasing. Khali bali, but what percentage? We need to understand the trend. So current year divided by base year into 100. So 1990 sales trend 100, 180 18%, 21%, 31%. Wages 100, 120, more than the sales.
Yes.
More than the sales, more than the sales. Bad debts more than the sales. 200%, 235%. Profit after tax 375%. So working notes. So you need to calculate. Okay, base sales. Every item has a base year 100, 100, 100. Then the trend. This is the calculation. Okay, sales trend. Current year divided by base year multiplied by 100. And relationship with the wages divided by sales, bad debts divided by sales, profit divided by sales. So here wages divided by sales 14%, 14%, 17%, bad debts 4%, 6%, 6%. अब देखो वहां पे देखे थे अपन trend is showing 100 to 100%, but when compared to the sales growth, this is a small percentages. Interpretation. Sales increased stably from the trend index 100 in 1999 to 131 in 1993. This means sales increased by 31% over the year. Wages increased faster than the sales. Bad debts increased substantially. Profit tax showed excellent growth. So the profit tax margin improved by 4.75%. Therefore, the companies generated considerably more profit from the overall dollar of sales. The overall profitability is improving strongly, but the management should carefully control the wages and bad debts because both are rising faster than the sales. So mind by ये रखो anything should not be increased faster than sales. जो increase हो रहा, that's not a good sign. Simple, your answer is not a good sign. If anything is increasing faster than the sales. The advantage of trend analysis shows long-term growth, helps in forecasting the future performance. Forecasting will come based upon the last 5 years. Okay. Assist the managers in planning and budgeting, identify the strengths and weaknesses useful of the investors and lenders, and support the strategical limitations. Depends upon the selecting an appropriate as a base year. This is the limitation. 8 years with base of over. So when we take in 3 years, okay, so 2024, 2025 we compare. When you are comparing 2026, why with 21, 24, why not with the 25? That is the limitation. I cannot do anything as you asked. Why? This is the limitation. So every method and every technique has a advantages and disadvantages, and limitations, and as well as the benefits. So affected by change in accounting policy. If accounting policy change, we cannot do trend analysis. If accounting policy change, when we can do? Again, first we need to recalculate the profit with the new policy, then it is possible. CMA exam में वही देते हैं, policy change होते हैं, पूरा फिर करना होगा retrospective. Influenced by inflation and economic conditions. Now, can we compare our sales with the last year? Because of the present circumstances, all business sales are down. Right, this is the inflation and economic conditions are not good. Cannot explain the reasons behind the change without further analysis. Can we compare with the COVID? So requires several years of consistent financial data. So if someone came to me to prepare a financial strength of the company, so I will eliminate COVID period. I cannot. I will say उससे पहले का. Okay. The examination, CMA examination tips when solving the trend analysis questions: select base year and assign 100%. Apply the trend formula to each year figure. Each year figure, apply the trend formula. What is the trend formula? Current year divided by base. Should not get confused. Compare the trend sales, expenses, assets, and profit. Identify whether each item shows an increase, a decrease, or stable trend. Consider external factors before concluding. External factors means now Gen Zs are fighting. Exams are no conducting results. Don't be around. You cannot external factors. End with the overall assessment of the company's financial performance. Clear? So next is very quickly we'll conclude the 7:30 common size statement analysis. Common size statement analysis. So comparative, absolute change, and the relative change, trend analysis, current year divided by the base year multiplied by 100. So you must prepare the income statement properly, because you calculated the wrong profit after tax before tax, wrong operating profit aa gaya, interpretation will go wrong. You cannot do the trend analysis because comparative statement and all is saying the policy should be uniform, data should be defined. Data should be defined. Now let's see the common size statement and the common size analysis. What is a common size statement? Abhijit?
Yes.
Are you understanding the class today?
Yes.
Very good. So, what is the common size statement? A common size statement is a financial statement in which every item is expressed. Okay? as a percentage of common base figure instead of showing only absolute dollar amount. Dollar amount है तो percentage भी बनाना है. This makes it easy to compare the performance of the same company over the different years, or compare the two or more companies of the different size, understand the composition of income, expenses, assets and liabilities, analyze the profitability, liquidity and financial strategy. A common size statement is a financial statement in which each item is expressed as a percentage of common base. Percentage of common base, amount of valuation. So when you are preparing the common size, very easy. Comparative income statement is absolute change by previous year. Trend analysis, current year divided by base year. But here, why it is called as a common size? Suppose there are two companies, company A, company B, sales is 500,000, sales is 50 million. So you cannot compare these companies using only dollars value because their size are completely different. Instead, convert everything into a percentage. Now both compare, have a common base, the comparison. The practical question is sales, cost of goods sold and the profit, sales, cost of goods sold and the profit. The percentage is 100%, 60 and 40. Income statement, all items by sales. Balance sheet, all items by assets. Reason है common size. So company A, income statement, company B, income statement, now sales 100%, even 1 million, 100,000 same. Here cost of goods sold 60%, but here cost of goods sold is 70%, here gross profit is 40%, here 30%. What is the interpretation? Although the company B earned much higher sales, so although the company B earned much higher sales, company A has a higher gross profit margin. Company B sales are in millions, but company A percentage of gross profit is higher than the company B. The company B 30%. Therefore, the company is more profitable relatively company B. Common size income statement. It's a common size income statement. Net sales, brother, please. Net sales is 100%, not the gross sales. Okay? Net sales is 100%. Every item is expressed by the percentage. Means particular item, salaries by sales, rent by sales, tax by sales, all these things are very easy to prepare, multiplied by 100. The example is, see now, everything is divided by 300,000 by 500,000, 200,000 by 500,000, 80,000 by 500,000, 120% by 500,000. Easy, right? Common size. Okay. So again I'm telling what is important. Preparation of the financial income statement बनाने सही आना, balance sheet बनाने सही आना. There is nothing is there in comparative statement, common size statement and the financial statement. Now ratio analysis nothing. Tough बोलते कुछ नहीं है. You know how to calculate a gross profit divided by sales. You make, so again I'm telling to prepare number of income statements, number of now position statements. Different problems, tough problems. Take BCom textbook and solve. You take intermediate first year textbook. 50, 60 final one problems. उसमें है. Okay. Next is the base, balance sheet basis, total assets are total liabilities, means liabilities plus shareholder, but better to take assets. Don't go on liability side, sometimes shareholder fund is included, not included, which देते अलग देते. Better to each and every item by total assets. Okay, percentage particular item by total assets, particular item divided by total liabilities plus equity बोल के खलास, full problem will go wrong. So better to take a decision when we will prepare a common size balance sheet. Each item will be divided by
Total investment.
example assets, cash, inventory, plant and others. Total assets 100 to 1 million, right? Each and every item divided by 1. Practical question: supermarket A, supermarket B, sales 500,000, 5 million, net profit we given. Although the market B earns much more profits, but the profit percentage, okay, A is advantage of a common size statement. Companies of a different size can be compared using the percentage. One company sale is 100 million, one company sales is 100,000. Can we compare? Yes. With the percentage, not with the measures relatively shows how efficiently the company converts the sales into profit. Example, gross profit is better than even the sales. Helps understanding the financial strategies, how what the management spends money. Inventory is 40% to total sales, cash 2% to sales. Okay, this is very, very important. Useful for trend analysis. You can compare the percentage. Useful for the trend analysis, right? Each item will be divided by one item, and useful for the investors. Limitations of the common size balance sheet is ignore the actual dollar amount. It cannot explain why changes occurred. Okay, it cannot change because what increased, what not increased, we don't know yet. Because we are not changing we are not calculating the absolute change. Okay, inflation may affect comparison. Different accounting policies reduce the comparability. So this is the question. Cost of goods sold consumes 65% of every sale. So everything will be compared with the percentage of sale. Everything will be compared with the. So the basic difference between the trend analysis and common size analysis. Purpose shows the growth or decline over the time. Shows the composition of the financial statement. Base year 100, sales 100%, total assets 100%. Formula: current year divided by the base year into 100. Particular item divided by the base amount, not the base. Base amount is sales. Okay. Growth trends, financial structure and efficiency. Example: sales increased by 100 to 150%. Cost of goods sold 60% towards the sales. Few differences between the trend analysis and common analysis. So this is a question in practice. I given the profit and loss account, and I have 2 questions I given: one for income statement, one for balance sheet, and you solve it and prepare it. Okay. So now what we completed, the concepts. What we completed is the trend analysis, indexing number, base years, trend ratios, interpretation, and the practical exams, common size assignments, comparative assignment analysis, interpretation and analysis, and practical some illustrations we done. Okay, next section we are going for a CMA examination practical questions, MCQs. So before that MCQs I will teach in the class, but before that I will give the assignment. Okay, you have to complete. Practice those. If you are facing difficulties in preparation or solving those problems, let us discuss that problems also in the class. No problem. This is the basic started foundation. So ratio analysis will not get stuck up. Ratio analysis will feel very easy because you know how to prepare the financial statement. Okay. And inshallah in the next session, US CMA examination pattern, aligned questions, multiple choice questions, concept application problem solving, examination tips, techniques and time management, and the performance improvement and the self-assessment we'll see. So when we are following the each MCQ questions, we'll write down the number of minutes, how many minutes we are able to complete. So thank you very much for today's session, online students. Hope you understood now what is the comparative statement, trend analysis, and the common size statement. Online students.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Rakesh. Understood? So I will share this material with you to revise it the given question practice. Okay. And see you in the next class. When is the next class?
Wednesday.
Okay, see you in the next class, inshallah. So now, alhamdulillah, we reached to discuss the CMA. Okay. Textbook or CMA examination questions. Thank you very much. See you.